Okay. What is happening? Okay, so I think that's where my video will start off with. Start by mentioning how how this whole thing all started. Okay, going like that. And let me check my codes are all working. This is not summarized, this is combined. So okay, has that done that? The frames. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Something like this. Okay, so that's fine. Okay. Let's go back. What is it? That's still. So that's it. He's not working too, is it? Hi, Dr. Brain Tickler. How are you? Um, I saw a tweet about how people are asking for R dplyr like functionalities in Julia. So I just wanted to make a video about how I implemented one of the R dplyr features. Yeah, in Julia. So I'm just making the preparation for that, doing some coding for that. And then once I lay out all the code, I'm gonna start recording a video. So this stream is about me streaming the makings of process. Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. I'm glad that you're doing well. Oh, thank you for being my cheerleader. Looking forward to seeing your pom-pom. Oh, very nice. This is on Dr. Brain Tickler. You might be the first one watching on this Ninja platform. I've never had anyone watch on the Ninja platform. I actually don't remember what this Ninja platform is called. Okay, yeah, it's D Life. Cool. I'm a little bit an old guy, so I don't really use Discord. Let me search for you. Cool, logistics. Oh well, yeah. Feel free to ask questions at any time. I'll try my best to answer. I might be focusing on the code, so I may not see your questions for a few minutes, but yeah. This is meant to be a very chill stream where I just do whatever I want. Yeah, everyone seems to have their own Discord server now. I don't know what I would use it for. Maybe if I have like 1 million fans, maybe. Yeah, I do have my Discord server. If you want, you can join this Julia streamer Discord. Yeah, it's 40 by the way. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm not quite 40. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Very nice. I'm trying to figure out how to add you. So let me see if I can add you. How do I add someone on? Okay, join this one. Can you see it in the chat? Yeah, so this is the Julia stream one, or and this is my channel, my Discord channel. Yeah. Precise name and number. Where do I find that? What is my precise name and my number? It's not actually clear to me how this whole thing works. Top of the app. Click on the Discord icon. The hell? I just clicked somewhere, I can't get back. Click on the Discord icon. Okay. Look for friends and add friends. Add friends. Okay, I've sent a friend request. Okay, yep. Oh well, that's done. Yeah, I think um, when I started trying to use Linux from having come from a mostly pure Windows background, I was very confused. Like, where's the C drive? I realized that you can just mount the C drive on anywhere you want. So I'm using WSL2. I mount my C drive on /mnt/c. Yeah, I guess having a root and then having like a user home, all of that can be confusing for Windows users as well. But yeah, once you get used to it, it's kind of fine. The other thing is in Linux, when you install software, you have to create you have to add it to the path or create a symlink or whatever. There's several ways to make your program work. Like that's also very confusing. I don't know if there's any way around it, but yes, that's the way it is. Cool. Alright, I think I'm almost ready to record the video. So let's see what happens. So, okay. Alright, there we go. Start recording. Hey. So go to the tweet. Oh. Whoa. Okay, start recording. Alright, let's start recording. Hope nothing breaks. Nothing breaks. Okay, maybe put it here. Let me test the sound. Okay, this is just me speaking normally away from the mic, testing the volume. Okay, this is just me speaking normally away from the mic, testing the volume. The sound quality is really bad. Yeah, Dr. Brain Tickler. I wanted to buy a more expensive mic, someone that just picks unidirectional, that only picks up my voice. But noise gate suppression software required. Yeah, so yeah, I couldn't. Where I live now, everything's under lockdown, so I actually can't buy the better mic, even if I wanted to. So I didn't realize that typing sound was so bad. Let me see if I can block it off. I don't want to pay for any trial software. How about now? Can you hear the typing noise? I think I've seen your message somewhere, but I can't find it anymore. Oh, there you go. It says the channel is not safe for work. I'm just glad that I'm not at work. What's up? Did you say anything? I turned off my volume.
Although,
Well, it's really annoying. I have to choose the output, the sound output, manually. It doesn't use the Windows one directly. I didn't hear anything you say, but I heard there was a sound made at least.
you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So, I am now going to screen share right here in the Discord. You can join it if you want. And I
Okay.
can show options. Be easier than speaking about them.
All right. What's happening?
So you see here in our voice. All right. So down here, user settings, then voice and video. You've already been there. And once you get those set, depending on how everything is set, how Linux does stuff, it'll remember your setting. And then you want to set it so that voice activity is on, and you want to turn automatically determine input sensitivity off. And then you'll want to adjust this automatically determined input sensitivity, or this slider here. It can change the decibel level. So you want it like at the quietest that you speak, so that it picks up the quietest of your words, so that the end of your sentence doesn't drop off. Like end every sentence a little quieter. Some people do that. So that's just like mess around with it. You can see like your voice will make the little thing bounce up to it, and if it reaches it, then it's far enough. And if it doesn't reach it, then you gotta make sure it reaches it. It goes past it. But you only want it to go just far enough. And then the other thing is noise suppression beta, crisp, and then there's a whole bunch of other different settings, of which most of them I think are on by default. You can just see how it goes. And then let's check your mic. Once you click that, you'll be in an echo chamber listening to yourself. And so if there's anything other than completely clean audio with your voice, then you know you've got a problem for listening pleasure, and it's not worth investing in a permanent video where roughly 5 to 15% of the population will just refuse to listen to it, immediately turn it off, and not tell you what the problem is, because it's a redundant nightmare. I've had to tell thousands and thousands and thousands of people, which is why I'm a little pesky about being willing to help people with it. But because you are a capable, intelligent person, I am confident it's not a total waste of my time, and hopefully you stick around. Well, smart people do well around me. No hasty judgment, no logical fallacy in my presence. I will insist that logic comes before everything, because it's efficient. And I don't have time. I'm going to die in like 10 years probably. So I have no choice but to be efficient.
Cool.
Anyway,
Well, I don't. So one thing I don't understand is if I do these settings in Discord, it's the Discord setting doesn't change my mic setting for all other programs, right? It only changes for Discord.
right. So you can set it up so that the audio feed that your stream is picking up is the Discord output.
Right.
I saw that the other day. I don't remember exactly where I saw that option, but it's not too difficult. And
All
then
right.
also, I recommend Voice Mod. There's a free version. And
Voice
then
mod.
Voice Mod is what I'm using right now. This program, like, I can do shit like this. Or we can be in a cave, or we can be in a cathedral or whatever.
Or all of a sudden I can a beat
Or a woman, right? But what you want it for is the free version, just so you can do the advanced audio settings, eliminate popping and mic exclusive mode. I mean, it helps some mics a little bit, and it's free, and that might fix your problem enough. Also, I want to point out that your mic is fine
Yeah.
for like sitting here not typing, just talking, like podcast. It's clean. So if you mute every time you go to type, and then you unmute and say what you want to say, and then mute again and type, and you keep doing that, and I mean mouse clicks as well. They'll pick up mouse clicks, and then you'll be fine. And like as long as it's not habitual, no one will complain, even me. You have to be doing it habitually for me to say anything.
Okay, so let me change the setting on my mic and see what you think.
No. Like,
Hello.
so,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you. But
Is-
look, I've done this thousands of times. So first step here now, where you're at, is go to the voice settings, and then every time you want to check your mic, you go to let's check, and you'll be in an echo chamber. I won't be able to hear you, but you'll be able to listen to yourself. So then you want to, run the simulation, do everything that you'd be doing, make all the noises you'd be making when you're talking, when you're not talking, and adjust your settings and see what you can resolve yourself. And then I'll check and see if I can hear anything else after that.
what I was gonna say was because my mic has setting where it's only meant to pick up from the front, but the problem I had with that was it's actually very faint. Like check this out. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, look, like, you're not understanding me. I mean, I don't know how to express this and get you to empathize with it, but I live online, and I have for 19 years, and I talk to, 3 to 5 new people every single day. So if I were to do what you're asking me to do with every single person, it would murder my entire life, murder my potential. I mean, 22 million seconds is roughly what we get in our life. Never mind that a bunch of those are spent sleeping, but the opportunity for redundancy thanks to the internet, and this exact issue has murdered like at least a year and a half of the past 5 years of my life, doing nothing but helping random strangers fix this problem, not succeed at it either usually, and then they leave and use me as a tampon, treat me like a tampon. So I insist that you go and try to resolve this yourself in the testing chamber first. At least it saves me like 15% to like 60% of what it would have taken me if you didn't just do it yourself, right?
Well,
And like even just explaining that to each person that I deal with in this regard is crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm getting you, but you're just saying that I should just go check this let's check thing.
Right.
So
Do what you can fix yourself.
But what I'm not getting is like I think that's maybe it's a UI UX issue. Is like you explained to me that if I click here, it's just me hearing myself, but I have absolutely no idea whether what I hear here is what's faithfully reproduced elsewhere. So that's why I ask you to respond to see what it sounded like, because I think to
First things first.
Yeah.
You listen to what you can listen to rather than me having to do it. And then you eliminate all noises you can with this testing area, and then you come back to me and ask.
Okay. Can you hear me? Alright, let me check this. Hello? 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 Hello?
And then if we have to take another step to make sure that it's, like dealing with the audio feed adjustments in OBS, that's another thing after this. The first thing is making sure that I can communicate with you without triggering my auditory tactile synesthesia and torturing. So that's the first step. And once we get that taken care of, everything else is so much smoother. And no matter what, remember, your mic is fine, completely fine, as long as you're just sitting still talking. It works perfect. So that's something for you to consider. You don't really have to buy anything. You just have to adjust your parameters of recording.
Alright. Okay, so let me Google how to make
No, like
Discord.
the most efficient thing is just to trust me, even though I'm a total I'll show you how
Well,
to set
maybe
up
you didn't hear
OBS.
it. Maybe you didn't hear it. I tried the echo chamber. It sounds fine. So so
Right.
I'm trying.
And
What I'm trying to do
did
now
you do
is
stuff like this? Like as you're talking to me, you also type like this?
yeah, I typed while I was doing it. It picks up the sound.
Yeah. Then
I mean, I can see
like
why people get really upset with the sound. So let me check again. Hello, hello. Yeah, it's kind of confusing. When I do let's
yeah,
check,
it's
it doesn't pick up my sound anymore. That's because maybe I turned on the noise cancellation thingy.
cool.
So
Well,
now I just
thank
need
you for
to
that.
figure out how to make Discord the sound produced by Discord. That's the one that picked up by my software.
Oh, well, no, actually. You can just check out my screen share again. Here, I'll start that up again. And then I will show you in the OBS.
Okay.
There are filters to add to stuff. Audio filters. And that will fix the problem. You won't have to do the Discord linking. But the Discord, like my voice, just gets picked up as like audio output. And you can make that a separate thing too, so that like if you don't want Discord chat, like my voice, to be included in your stream or whatever, you can hear it, but your stream can't.
Yeah, I don't record the video using Streamlabs though. Is it?
Oh, well, either way, you're looking for properties on whatever your capture device is,
Yeah.
and then see if they've got filters, and then noise gate, noise suppression, and noise and compressor.
Yeah. Maybe my software is too out of date.
I mean, OBS is free.
Yeah. I use Streamlabs OBS.
Same deal. Same settings. Just click properties for your audio input and go to filters. And then the same filters that I have set here will apply there.
So I have to go to filters.
Yeah, you want to click properties on your audio input capture. Like the little cog, maybe. Well, here, let me...
Well, yeah, I see that. It says properties, but there's only the option to select the device. There's no other filter options.
Here, let me check.
Let me
OBS
check.
might be a little bit different.
Why is this so hard? Why don't they just make it easy so that you don't have to set up anything? It seems to be a very common issue.
So, back in 360 days, Xbox 360, they had a default mic that was perfect.
Yeah.
It didn't pick up anything. I mean, you could beat your kids and it wouldn't pick it up.
Oh yeah, that's.
But it was a little bit quiet too. And then Turtle Beaches or whatever, they were really loud in comparison, and nobody could get their volume levels right. You couldn't just adjust the person's volume individually in the party chat. Why they didn't put that in there is beyond me, but they didn't, and so people complained that their mics weren't as loud as someone with Turtle Beach or whatever. And then the industry responded by making every single mic way too fucking sensitive, and they forgot all about hot mic as a fucking noise polluting nightmare, or they didn't, and they did it on purpose so they could get better recordings as they trained their voice recognition software. And it's like corporate spycraft fucking conspiracy, and they want to hear every fact. They want to know when you run out of lube. You know what I mean? It's fucking absurd. I don't really know, but I asked the same question so many fucking times that, I mean, I'm furious about it. Like, you have no idea. Like, blood, I taste blood in my mouth every time I think about it. I hate them. Like, the tech world does not compensate for biology, cognition, the variance that exists, and nor does business. It's a huge fucking failure. Cascading waste, murdering people's potential. Like, you think that my time or your time is best served dealing with the likes of this? Fuck no. It's murderous. Like it's unbelievable. Alright, so let's see here. Audio input, capture. I right click on it, and then there's filters, like properties and
Hello.
There you are.
Let me see what's happening. All right.
Okay, I found the filter. Okay, so we got the
Yeah.
sources.
Yeah, I see exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, and filters.
Filters. Okay.
Okay, and now that you're there, I got to switch back to the other software that I
On your
set
on
up.
your right hand side, you see a mixer thing, right? That mixer says mic and audio.
It needs to be in the source that you click the mic input source option.
Yeah. Okay. So let me add that.
Yeah, you got to add an audio input source. And actually, wait, yeah, and then in audio mixer, it might show up.
Okay. So I have to add a filter to it.
Correct. You want noise gate, and then I've got close threshold at 48 and open threshold at 47, or negative
Wow.
dash.
My one's at 32.
Never mind what it defaults at. We're changing.
40. What is it? 40. I can't see your screen. 48, 47, 48, 47.
Right.
I have no idea what these numbers mean, by the way, but
It's okay. It's okay. If I hear
Alright.
any problems in the stream after we get this set up, I'll let you know.
I've done this.
Alright, and attack time, 25 milliseconds, hold time, 200 milliseconds, release time, 150 milliseconds. That's 25, 200,
Yeah,
150.
those are my defaults.
Okay, and that might not be perfect, but I think it's still good. Now we want to add another one that's noise suppression, and I've got that set at dash 30 dB.
Yeah, that's the default.
Okay, and then compressor, I'm going to add a compressor, and then we want 3:1 ratio. We want a threshold of dash 20. We want an attack time of 1 millisecond, release time of 50 milliseconds. Output gain is, subjective or client side or equipment based, but mine is at 6.20 dB. Sidechain ducking is none. So we go to the top again.
3, 2, 1.
Ratio, negative 20 or dash 20, then 1 millisecond, 50 milliseconds, then 6.20 dB. None.
Okay, compressor. Okay, yep, that's it. I have the three filters.
Cool. Now we test it, and I will turn the volume back up in the screen.
All right, this is with all 3 filters, and I'm typing right now. And my mouse clicks. What? What's happening? Man, it's so unintuitive. Yeah, okay. So I just get rid of this is my audio capture. Let me see.
So you might need to control. You might need more in some of these regards than what I told you to do. And I might need more as well. Like, it depends on the mic and your environment and what keyboard you have and how loud you type. In the Hot Mic Apocalypse thread, there is a whole bunch of recommendations and like other software and links that could be over here. And it's missing other stuff.
All right. I have to go check out the Google thingy because
What?
I have to go check out the Google and figure out how to do this. It's too hard.
No. Don't waste your time. Like that mic and the keyboard that you have.
Yeah.
is probably just not going to work. Like every mic in the fucking world that you can buy right now, doesn't matter what the price is.
Yeah.
Almost all of them are too sensitive. It doesn't matter if they say they're noise canceling or that they're unidirectional or cardioid, they fucking lie. And then you buy them and return them, buy them, return them, buy them, return them, and that'll just murder your life. When really you need a new keyboard for one thing.
So I need a mechanical keyboard?
Well, I've got a mechanical keyboard that is a HyperX.
But how come I can't hear your keyboard?
Well, I'm not typing.
Oh.
If I was typing and talking, you'd probably hear it. Like,
no, I can't hear anything. I can see you typing FSD, FSDH. I can't hear anything.
Okay, cool. So I've got my total mic setup is $60 between a PDP generic Xbox One wired controller and a 3.5 millimeter jack, cheap ass, like $25 Turtle Beach Recon 50X. Then I have all those settings like I showed you, which fixes the problem for the most part. And then it wouldn't if I had a really loud keyboard.
How far is your mic from the keyboard though?
I don't know, like a foot.
What? Because my mic is in front of my mouth and my keyboard is right next to it.
Well, you could try moving your keyboard as far away as you can from where your mic is, and that might help.
You see,
your keyboard's pretty loud, so I recommend that you get a $40 HyperX RGB alloy chrome, like I have.
Is that a wired keyboard? HyperX 40.
HyperX alloy for RGB.
Alloy.
Silicone spill-proof coating underneath the keys. A lot quieter than most mechanical keyboards, and still completely functional in the same way as every other mechanical.
Yeah. Okay. So I might invest in one of those keyboards as well, but unfortunately I live in Melbourne and we don't. It's lockdown, man. It's not like the US where we can just go anywhere.
Just buy it online.
Yeah, except the delivery will be 3 months from now.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure if you're aware.
I'm not, I guess. But either way.
Hey, but I like your suggestion about pumping the Discord thing through it, because when I ran let's check on Discord, thanks to your advice, on let's check, everything's quiet. I can't hear my keyboard and mouse. So maybe I just need to figure out how to make the sound come from Discord filter instead of trying to do it myself. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. And that's probably not too hard to do either. And I should learn how to do it with you, because the voice mod thing probably doesn't fix it, you know. But let's see here. Audio input capture. We go to, I'm gonna guess, properties, device, and then I was using voice mod. I think what we do is we add source, and then it's a I saw it the other day. Now this might be a Google search worthy moment.
I found this article about how to record Discord audio.
I would search use mic feed from Discord in OBS or in Slack. And then let's see here. Create source projector. No. Create output projector. Create stream output projector. Perhaps. That's not where I found it at. I just remember I saw it passing somewhere. Or thought I did. Alright, let me search it up here. Also, something else I want to mention is OBS and Streamlabs. I have both of them, and I have them set up in different ways for different things, and different stream keys for different projects, so that I don't have to keep switching out stream keys. Plus, sometimes one of them would be broken and the other one won't. Or mainly OBS is less of a drain on system resources than flop. That's another like tip in general.
Yeah,
Memory leak.
yeah, I'm pretty noob at this, so
I got you. I got you. And I'll learn a lot from you along the way and trade. So this is all like user interface stuff. So that's something I can teach, no problem. Properties.
see, I've done the filters, and it's like
You might be able to adjust the filters to make them more extreme to compensate, just like Discord's filters do. But I think what's saving you in Discord is that crisp beta thing. That's like a droid algorithm shit, listening, identifying known things that, and then taking them out and then giving you the clean feed.
all right. So all right, cool. Thanks very much. I think I need to go and check out do some googling, or I really want to try a new mic, because otherwise it's just gonna.
Do you have another mic?
I don't have another mic. This is the best mic I've got. This is from
And again,
This is from 5 years ago, by the way. It's a blue.
Okay.
It's a blue snowball.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
It's from more than 5 years ago.
Yeah. So your mic is fine if you just aren't doing stuff. Like you can't build a Lego set. It'll pick up that every Lego snapping together, right? So you just want to make sure that when you speak, you're not habitually making noises, and so it's like mute. You can also get a free system-wide push to mute, push to unmute thing on your computer. That'll help. And then during recording, you just type up some stuff while you're muted, or make a change while you're muted, then unmute and highlight it, point to it, say what you did and why or whatever, then mute again, type something else, whatever. And then you won't be picking up all the clicks and clacks.
All right. I'll just have to do some post editing. While I'm recording, it might show up. I just use my software to post edit it out.
Discord might feed. Source. To do this, click the plus sign in the area that says sources, and then add desktop audio. And
capture Discord.
Yeah, so we go. That's weird. Weird. Where is desktop audio? I don't even see it in add source over here. I see game capture, video capture, audio capture, window capture, media source. Maybe it's window capture, or that's weird. So if I go back to OBS instead of Streamlabs, they probably got an option over here that looks like isn't in the newer slots. Well, I've got two desktop audio things and mic auxiliary things in the mixer feed, the audio mixer.
I have one. I have one in the desktop audio.
Okay, so let's see if advanced audio properties, and then there's Discord desktop audio, Discord voice overlay. Audio monitoring as well, so you can like listen to yourself. Which, by the way, the cheap ass setup that I have, if you plug a 3.5 millimeter jack mic into that controller, you will hear yourself whether you like it or not. But they do it so well, it's so natural that it actually just feels like you're not wearing headphones. You can like hear
Right.
yourself talk. It's actually really nice.
All right. All right, cool, Dr. Brain Tickler. What I might do is I'll give up on this right now. I'll do the recording and post edit out any noise that I hear during the recording. Because I just want to push this video out today. All right,
timely is important.
Yeah,
All
thanks.
right, well, man,
Thanks for your help, dude.
How long is it gonna take you to do that? And then can we have a conversation without tech tampon tutorial type thing? And when you're done, or is this gonna be it for today?
I'm gonna keep streaming, and on the stream I'll record I'll record the video, make the edits, and once I'm done, once I push the audio, the whole video onto YouTube, I'll try to call it a day. It's about 1 p.m. here, so I really want to do it so I get some time back on the rest of the day.
What are you gonna do after that though? Because I want to lick your brain and like play and socialize with you.
Oh yeah, well, you can socialize with me during the stream, because I might be just on Discord and stuff.
Well, so I was actually, before I saw you there and we got into this, I was about to start my stream, of which is podcasting impromptu weird random shit on VR chat at the moment. I'm delving into VR chat, which you can play on desktop, by the way.
Are you gonna stream on Twitch?
I am gonna stream to DLive, Twitch, YouTube, and Steam.
Oh, okay. Send me your Twitch handle or something, and I'll check it out.
Better that you go with DLive, I guess. I mean, whatever's best for you.
Why do you like DLive?
Well, I mean, I got banned 2 days ago on Twitch. I still have like 5 different channels there though, so I just immediately started streaming to a different channel. But it still murders my life. Like all my growth, all my investment in that channel is now gone. And my other channel I can't log into on my gaming PC because of two-factor authentication issues, of which they won't deal with at all. And I didn't know about the Authy app. My real identity is there. Hey, what's up with that? Like, are you leaving my...
Yeah, I'm gonna resume my stream. I'm actually about to leave this chat channel as well.
Okay, I'm about to leave. Listen, if you want to hang, then go over to my DLive and drop me a lemon, and I'll make you a moderator. You don't have to deal with the paid sub shit. And, of course, come and hang with me in our chat if you want. Just be persistent. I'm distracted.
All right. Talk to you later. I'm gonna quit this chat thing, and I'm gonna start recording my video. All right. Thanks for your help, dude.
I will lurk for you.
All right. Thanks, dude. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay, so let me check what's happening. I just gotta put the mic at about the right distance. Oh, hi, Meme Iron or Ron 10. Thanks for saying yo. I'm gonna check out my what's my setting. Looks like the right setting. Let's check it. What's up? Okay, just checking the audio levels, right? Yes, you can see I'm not using. Sounds a bit faint. As you can see, I'm not using Streamlabs to do the recording. I'm using professional software. from 10 years ago, so that's why it's a bit old. Maybe I should use Streamlabs to do the recording. Let's have a crack first. All right. How does recording in Streamlabs work? Press this button and it starts recording, and I do some typing. Do some mouse clicks. Stop the recording. Now I don't know where the recording has gone. Super annoying. Where the frick did the recording go? Recording path. Alright, there we go. Alright, I found the recording. Looks like this one. Starts recording. Typing. Plastic. See, it doesn't help. I can still hear myself. So let's try another setting on my mic. None of the tricks that Dr. Brain Tickler showed me works. Oh, now it's working. It's not picking up the sounds. All right, so let's try again. All right, just testing out the sound quality. If I record from Streamlabs, this is me typing, mouse clicking. I'm gonna stop the recording and check the sound now. All right, see how it works. All right, perfect. I cannot hear anything, any mouse clicks, anything. So maybe Dr. Brain Tickler help worked, because this mic, if I turn the setting to the front only, yeah, it's no longer picking up the typing sound. So let me try again. All right, are you gonna pick up the typing sound? Oh yes, it is. Wow, it's picking it up. So I have to change the settings. All right, are you gonna pick up the typing sound? Nope. I'm typing really hard. Not picking it up. Mouse clicks. Not picking it up at all. So this is the setting I want. Let's try it. Alright, so maybe that's the trick. I'm gonna record from Streamlabs and edit the video using my professional software. So where's my, okay, let's start the recording. Okay, well, on Julia Lang Twitter recently, there was a question from the Julia Language Twitter. It says, what is one or more than one missing tool in your Julia development workflow that you wish existed but doesn't? And this is someone's reply. A shiny like tool, okay, cool. And also documentation, cool. And R dplyr like full working package. Well, of course, dplyr is one of the major R packages for data wrangling. And this is my reply. Well, you can use all of these together and it will be like dplyr R. And a few more comments later is, I'm pretty sure dplyr equivalent in Julia is one of the first things somebody coming from Julia Googles when taking a look at Julia, for example. So this got me thinking, what is missing in Julia that exists in dplyr? So I did some investigation, and I want to show one of the features in dplyr that's very popular right now, which is the across function. Now, across is a very interesting function. It lets you apply some function to every column that satisfies certain criteria. It makes the code really short. I'll show you what I mean. So firstly, this is on the right hand side of my R window. I'm going to load up the dplyr library. I'm going to have a look at the dataset that I want to work with, which is the iris dataset that comes with R. So it's very simple dataset. 4 columns of numeric values, and they all have names that starts with sepal or petal, and species, okay, which is a categorical column. And I've taken all of these from examples from the across documentation that you can access by going $dplyr across, and inside it you see down the bottom the example code of how to use across. So this is where these examples come from. So let's take a look at the first example in across. It takes the iris dataset, grouped by species, and then look here, it's summarizing, but it's doing this across thing where it looks at mean and starts with. So how to read this is, it takes all the columns that starts with this in the name and then apply mean to it. So this is what the result looks like. Okay, so it's summarized by species, and for all the column that starts with this, it computed the mean. So great. So how do you do this in Julia? Over here, it's all the Julia code. We're going to load all the Julia libraries that we need. Is data frames, statistics, compute the mean. I like using the pipe library to simulate the piping functionality that comes from Magritta in R. And of course, the datasets iris sits in this package called R datasets. It comes from other packages as well, but I'll use the R datasets package. And this is how you load up the iris data in Julia. So it's not as convenient as R, but it's arguable why would a dataset sit in base language. But anyway, I can load it up. You can view the iris dataset in a variety number of ways. I like using the floating windows view and just browse, and it will open up a separate window with the dataset that looks like this. So I can move this around and put it elsewhere if I need to. Okay. Okay, so let's replicate the first step. Group by species and apply the mean to every column that starts with this name in the name. So I am gonna do the pipe, and I'm using the font where the pipe and greater than symbol, if you've tied them close together, becomes the triangle. And very similar to the dplyr code, I'll do a group by on species. And then I will do this, which is combine filter starts with name, and do it like this. Okay, let's start again. Okay, so I'll replicate this, which is iris group by and summarize like this. So in Julia, using data frames, you do iris group by, and then summarize is almost the same as combine. So in this combine, you see that the underscore is just the results of the previous section. The pipe, which is the iris dataset group by species. So that's where this goes. And I'm going to do a filter on this. So what is this thing that happens? So names of underscore is basically all the column names of the previous part. And starts with it's a function. So if I run filter on a function with some vector, then I'll get the results. Then I'll just basically filter out names that starts with that. So show you an example. This is how it works. So you see, if I run this, it just returns column names that starts with sepal. And in the data frame syntax, if I get an array or an iterable of names, and I broadcast it using this pairs function, and then I say mean, it will basically apply the mean to every single name in here. So that's not too bad. There you go. That's how you replicate the cross function in Julia data frames. Okay, let's look at the second function, which is take the iris, they turn it into a tibble, and do this across. But now this is interesting. They've got this where functionality here. Where is factor and then character. So what this does is you must remember that the second argument to across is always action you wish to apply, and the first argument is always the selection criteria. So if you do start with that, it will basically go through the column names. But if you wrap it around a where, then this function will be applied to the column content. So this will check if the column content is a factor, and if it is, it gets converted to a character, which is basically a string. So if I just run this, as you can see here, all the numeric columns didn't get changed, but the species column, which was a factor, and now be converted to a character, which is a string. Okay, so how would I achieve this in Julia? Well, Julia doesn't have all the convenience functions. So the first thing I want to show you is how do I check a column is a particular type. And in this case, I want to check if the column is a categorical type. So I just go take the data set, apply the each column iterator, and that will basically iterate through each column, and I do a broadcasting of type of. That will return the type of each column. So you can see it's an array of floats, array of float, array of float, and categorical array. So to check which of them is categorical array, I again broadcast it by this subtyping check operator. So basically this will return true if the left hand side is a subtype of this. So if I run that, you can see that it's false, 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 true, as we expect. And then what we do is we take the names of the iris and we apply this true and false vector, which is computed above, and that will return us all the names that satisfy this criterion into n. So the only column that satisfies being a categorical array is just species. So that's great. And then we want to apply some function to convert a categorical array to string array. So in this case, if I have a categorical array like cat r here, I can just cast them into a vector of strings like. Okay, so now you can see after casting, it becomes just a vector of string. So bring all of that together, N I already computed. That's all the names that satisfy this criterion of being a categorical array. And this is a function. It's not a function, it's a type, but it's a type that you can run like a function. So I call it a callable because you can just put a bracket after it and call on something. So convert it to this type. So I go name, conversion, the action I want to do, which is casting. And this syntax here means store the results into the same names as that. And I put the dot there because theoretically we could run this function on a data set with more than one categorical columns. So therefore I need to broadcast it. But otherwise, in this case, because there's only one categorical column, this technically doesn't really help. So for example, I could have done n1, just do it for the first name, and it will do the same thing. But of course, we want to show you how to write generic code. So put the dot there. You can see now this column is casted to. And this example is not very satisfying in that I have to use some intermediate variables, and it doesn't look as clean as the dplyr version. But of course, the dplyr version uses a lot of magic, like where, etc. So, but we'll come back to this particular example right at the very end to show you how we can do this in Julia, replicate the dplyr API. Okay, so let's keep going. The next example in the dplyr example is a per style formula. So it's exactly the same as before, group by species, and across the first part it's the same as before, but now they use this tilde to do a like a shorthand for defining a function, and this is called the per style function definition syntax by placing a tilde before the function, and then the arguments of the functions are .x or .y, or if there's more than 2 arguments to your function, you can do .1, .2, .3. But if you didn't do this in the Py syntax, you would have to do something like this in R. You have to do function and .x. So that's just more typing. So the whole per syntax styles is basically, you can save the function keyword and do it like this. Well, in Julia, there's some package that allow you to do something similar like that, but I think what's provided in the language it's actually good enough already. So this is how I would do it. Same thing as before. Iris group by species, same as before, and this time you see that I'm piping this to a function, and this is how you define an anonymous function in Julia, which is my function has a argument called x, and this is what I'm going to do to x, and we'll chain it together using this dash greater than sign, which gets rendered as an arrow. But if I type dash greater than and then I put them together, that becomes like that. Okay, so that's just as easy as the per syntax. So I just go like that. Yep. And I got check the results in here. You see I get exactly the same results. Okay, the next one is a name list of functions. So they take iris, that part is the same. They do the cross, that part is the same. But now they have a list of mean equals to mean and SD equals to SD. So let's run that and see what happens. So basically they've taken all the columns that satisfy the names, all the columns that starts with that, and they, for each of those columns, they have applied mean and SD. So because there's 2 columns that satisfy that, and there's 2 functions they provided, so you ended up with 4 columns apart from the group by column. So how would I go about achieving that in Julia? So if you saw the previous code and you thought, okay, let's just pipe it through like that, that's not going to work. And you see if I just do filter this and then use the pairs to pipe this, into mean and standard deviation, I only end up with 2 columns, and that's because by default it doesn't do a product of the 2. It matches the first one, apply the mean, match the second name, apply the standard deviation. So that's not what we want. So what we're really missing is just a product. So this is how I would go about fixing it. First part is the same, but in the combine, I'm going to do a product. So how do I do a product of the column name and the function? Well, I use list comprehension. So let's focus on the second part of the list comprehension first, which is this part. For name in filter, which is that one, and with a comma, for function in mean and standard deviation. This syntax where I put in 2 iterations, something in something and something else in something else, with a comma, that will generate the product of these 2. And for each of these, I will just create the name piped to function. And of course, all of that's wrapped inside an array. And then I just use ... to splat all of the things inside there outside. So let's run that, and you see that this now achieves what we want. But of course, this is a bit verbose and a little bit hard to read, so we can go about fixing that. And this is the beginning of how I go about developing the across function in Julia. So I define a function called dplyr across, and it will take in a name and it'll take in a function, and we apply the same trick. We do the product iteration, and the output of that is name to function, and instead of wrapping it in a array, I wrapped it in a tuple, and that works as well. So I define this function and I run this. Now it looks a lot more cleaner. I do a dplyr across, and what do I cross? I'm crossing the name that I filtered, and I cross with 2 other functions. So as you can see here now, the results are exactly the same as they are in R. So great. How can I make it even easier? So I can make it even easier by defining a type called dplyr across, and this type has really 3 main things, which is the input names, the functions, and the output names. So I put that into define a new type, and I just define how to create this new type if I only pass in the input names and the functions. But if I only do that, I just ignore the output names, so put nothing into the output names. It's fine. And what do I do here? How do I make this work better? So I want to overload the combine function from data frames and make it work with this data structure, which is the dplyr across. So I'll define it. Combine, it accepts a data frame and DA for dplyr across. And if I receive a dplyr across, what I would do is literally I will apply the inNames function on the names to filter it. So in this case, I would supply that as the function, and this will filter it and produce the input columns. And I'm only implementing this when there is no outNames defined. So if outNames is nothing, then literally I just create the product of the input column and the functions, like so, and I run combine with these splat. And I'm not implementing the branch where this is nothing. I'll implement that in the next use case. Okay, so that's really easy. So now, how have I simplified this? I've simplified this even further now. So instead of writing out all of this, like filter that, I just run the combine function with the dplyr across object, and this dplyr across object is initialized with a function for filtering the column names and the functions I want to apply to each of the columns that satisfy this condition. So I run this, and you can see now it's looking remarkably like the dplyr API. So I got exactly what I want just by defining a type and letting the multiple dispatch functionality in Julia do its magic. Okay, great. Let's look at the next example. So this is getting a little bit interesting here as well. So now we're doing this, but now you see that there's a .names argument, and in .name they go mean underscore in curly brackets code, and you can see what the outputs look like. The outputs look like the group column, mean, and then followed by the column name, mean followed by the column name. So this is now following the pattern defined here. So basically what this means is every time they put the code here, the column name that the mean function applies to will get replaced here and becomes a new output column name. And in this case, they only apply the mean function instead of applying multiple functions. So how do I replicate that in Julia? Well, given that they now have the output names, I'm going to implement this again. But this time, for example, I just create a convenience method that says, if you put in the input names in a function and names, and I default the names to nothing, but if it's provided, I will put it in there, and I'll generate a new dplyr across object like this. What I will also do is I'll implement the branch now where the out names is populated. It's not nothing anymore. The nothing implementation we've seen is very simple. But if there is a name in there and they want to replace all the codes with the actual column name, and later on you see that they want to replace everything in the functions curly bracket with the name of the function, or actually not the name of the function but the key of the function. So this is what I do. I do a product over the input columns and the keys of the functions. So if you didn't provide a name to the functions, like if you just do mean and standard deviation, the keys of that will be 1 and 2. If you did mean equals to mean and standard deviation equals standard deviation, then the keys will actually take the left hand side of that, which is mean and standard deviation. I'll show you what that means, but it's just extracting the keys. And literally what I do is, in the out names, I will store the particular string that they want to pass to the function, which is this one. And basically with this string, I'm going to replace every time I see this with the actual column name. And every time I see this, I want to replace it with the string of the keys of the function. So that's why I have to replace in here. And basically all I'm doing is generating the output columns by doing this trick. And once I have the output columns, what I do is I create a new iterator. This new iterator iterates over the product of the inputs and the functions stored in the dplyr across object. And because by construction, our output column is basically comes from a list comprehension of the product of these two anyway, so this must be the same length as these two. So I can zip them together. And then in the next line, what I can do is I can just say, well, let's iterate over this iterator, and this iterator has this format, which is input column, function, and output column. And I want to generate the syntax required for data frame, which is input column, operation, and output column, and store in this pairs vector. Then I simply just return that. So that's how I get the results I want. So let's have a run of this. Let's define that, and let's have a run of this. So now you see I'm doing dplyr across the filtering criterion for the input names, the function I want to apply, and the name, okay, and the output name, which is in this format, mean underscore column. And you can see now I get exactly the same result that's over there in the R program. And the names are exactly as we specified as well. Cool. Next example, which is they're going to do a group by on species. Across is the same, and they want to do a list. And now notice that the list is now named. So they got mean equals to mean and SD equals to SD. And the output name they want is column.fn. So let's run that. And you can see that the output name is literally the input column names dot the function name or the key being applied, the key being on the left hand side. So for example, if I change the key to mean1 and SD1 and I run exactly the same code, and you see that it's actually using mean1 and SD1 as the name, not what's on the right hand side, because the left hand side is what's the key. Okay, so how do I do that in Julia? Well, I actually, because I've implemented this dplyr across object, I have everything I need. So all I have to do is same filtering criterion. You see how I put a name to it, mean equals to mean, standard deviation equals standard deviation, and the output name is this of this format. I run that, and you can see I get exactly the same output as in R. Of course, you don't want to use dot in the variable names in Julia. That's more like an R thing that's kind of tolerated but not good to do in modern R. So I just changed it to name underscore, which also works. And one last example where they go, well, let me do exactly the same thing, but this time instead of giving it a name, I just list down the function I want to apply. And in this case, the names would be 1 and 2 instead of what's on the left hand side here. So I just run this, and you can see the output is column name, fn1, because I put fn here literally, and because, as I said, there's no name to it, it just uses 1 and 2. And this is what exactly will happen as well if I don't put a name to my tuple. So exactly the same code. You can see the output is fn1, fn2 instead of fn mean and fn std. So that's all very good. And how can I make it even easier to use? Well, I have developed a package called dply. You can see that it doesn't have the R at the end because it's a Julia package, so it's no longer need to be called dplyr R. It's just called dplyr.jl. But of course, using a package in Julia doesn't require the .jl. And in this package, I've defined the across function. You can do the capitalize across to emphasize that it's a object that you're creating, but you can also just use the lowercase version. You can, if you use a package, you can just do syntax just like this to create what we have saw before. Very great. Now, do you recall that at the beginning we skipped a case? This is where we come back to it, because in this package I have developed a functionality to deal with that case. So let's have a reminder of what that case is. What the case was, it was taking the iris table and then doing a mutate, which just means creating new variables, and it's a cross where is factor. And recall that when you do a where, this criterion for filtering applies to the content of the column, not just the name of the column. Basically, this converts all the factor columns into characters. And if you recall, my Julia implementation involves first finding out, using this longish code to figure out what is the name of the column that satisfies this criteria, which is being a categorical column n. And then I just apply the normal data frame syntax to do the conversion. Or I can apply this syntax, which just takes the column names and apply the string function on it. And this string function just makes it so that even if the type of the column is a categorical column is not a string to start with, it can still do the conversion. So for example, if the category was 1, 2, and 3, it can still do the conversion using the string. But this one relies on the fact that the underlying categories have some sort of string representation. But that's sort of besides the point. The real point is, how can I use my package? Well, literally in my package, using similar tricks to have shown above, I've defined this object called where, and this where will basically go inside and across as the first argument. And inside the where, you just give it a function to say what is the criterion you're filtering for. And in this case, the function I supply is check if the type of the column is categorical array. Of course, you can make this even simpler by defining a isCatArray function, which checks the column is a categorical array. Unfortunately, I don't believe in Julia there is a function similar to isVector, but as you can see, it's very easy to define yourself, so you don't really have to rely on library, the language, or any package to define that yourself. So if I just define this function, I can simplify the code as deploy across, and then deploy.where, and supply the function to filter the criterion with. So let's try that. As you can see, now species is converted to string. And of course, if you really want to, use it so that you type even less and the API looks really much the same as dplyr, you can just forcibly export these functions. Well, technically the name is okay. You can just export this function. So I'm going to do using deploy. I export across and where. I run that. So now I can use across and where without the dot prefix, because by default I don't want to export across and where because they could be just very common names. I want you to use them with the dot, unless you said I know what I'm doing, export everything. So now I can use across and where without having to prefix it with deploy dot. Now you can see this is very much like the R syntax, which is like that. I run that, and of course, as I mentioned before, you can just change that to a string, a anonymous function that works on string columns, and it'll give you the same results. So there you go. I've shown how to implement the across functionality in Julia and work through all the examples, and I implemented a package. I want to show you that in this package there's 20 lines plus 67 lines, so just under 100 lines of code, and I implemented the across functionality in dplyr. Hope you had some fun learning about this, and see you next time. Okay, so I'm done with it. So what I would do now is edit the video. Alright, I'm gonna finish off this stream now.